So OpenAI's latest model is GPT-5.5. And like most of their other models, they have a prompting guide for the best ways to approach using the model. Now, the guide is geared towards developers, but even if you just use ChatGPT, there's a lot of really good information in here about how to prompt it versus other models. And the first thing that I'll point out is if you look at this here, it's like there are different basically tabs here for all the different models, for a lot of the different models at least. And the really high level takeaway is that the way that you prompt each model is different. And I know a lot of the advice out there is just like, oh yeah, just keep your prompts and just use the same prompts, etc. And a lot of times that advice is what leads to people not liking the newer models, because even though a lot of these cycles seem really fast and there's a new model every week and new model every day, a lot of things are actually changing with each model, and a lot of that is geared towards the way you actually approach the models. So anyway, with 5.5, like they have the little, I don't know, summary in the opening here, and I think the biggest point is the first one, where when you're prompting GPT-5.5, and this can be in ChatGPT, this can be through API call, it doesn't really matter. If you're using GPT-5.5, it is more agentic, if you know what that means. If you don't, when you're dealing with agents and we're dealing with this model, the prompting structure that's more effective is focusing on your outcome, saying that I want this in the end, and letting the model figure out how to get there. With a lot of previous models, like even 5.4, it would be, I want this outcome, follow these steps. First, do this. Second, do this. Third, do this. Fourth, do this. Then give me this output format. With 5.5, it's take away all the steps. So instead of saying step 1, step 2, step 3, just say, give me this outcome, here are the constraints, and walk away. Again, that's very similar to how you deal with agents. You just kind of give them what you want and you let them figure it out. This is one of the first models, at least one of the first GPT models, that has that behavior. So like that's a huge change. If you have old prompts and you have like a prompt library and whatever, it's more likely than not that like those prompts are going to be just very, what they call process heavy here. And it's just like do all these steps. So if you're having issues with the GPT-5.5, like that's the first thing to change. It's like take out all those steps and just give it the outcome and then see how that goes. Let's scroll through some of this here, and it says, yeah, avoid carrying over every instruction from an older prompt stack. Legacy prompts often overspecify the process because earlier models needed more help staying on track. With GPT-5.5, that can add noise, narrow the model's search space, or lead to overly mechanical answers. So again, you don't want to give it all of the steps. You want it to have the freedom to figure out the steps. And we'll scroll through. I'll skip the codex part because I know a lot of people don't use codex. The personality and behavior section can be pretty important, and you usually want to add some kind of reference to these areas. And it's like personality controls how the assistant sounds. So like tone, warmth, directness, formality, humor, empathy, and level of polish. And then collaboration style controls how the assistant works. When it asks questions, when it makes assumptions, how proactive it should be, how much context it gives, when it checks work, how it handles uncertainty or risk. Again, those are two areas that you want to put in there most of the time. There are a couple examples of personality prompts in here. I'm not going to read through all these, but you can look at those in there if you want. Let me see, preamble, get outcome first prompts, and stopping conditions. That's another pretty huge one. So there's Yeah, let me see. Yeah, there's an example in here with like resolve this customer's issue end to end, and you usually have to give it a little more context before that, and then like success means, and then it lists out a couple of bullets. Again, this might be really different from how your prompts are. Through avoid unnecessary absolute rules, always, never, must, and only. That used to be really important. Now that kind of doesn't really help very much. Has some formatting things. That's not really for ChatGPT, etc. Again, we'll link this in the description if you want to read through it. This is kind of dense. Like I get this is a lot of information. So it really depends on, I don't know, for lack of a better way to say it, how much you care about the stuff that you're doing. If your job or your business depends on like using ChatGPT or like just GPT-5.5 in your workflow, you probably want to read through this. And I get that, you kind of want just the TLDR. Just give me the short version. Give me the bullet points. This is the short version. Like this is basically the people who design the model and who maintain the model saying this is exactly how you use the model. This is the shortest version that they could come up with, and like I get it's pages of stuff, but again, if it's that important to your workflow, for your job, your business, whatever, it's probably worth knowing how to use the tool. But I'll put the soapbox aside. But we'll link this in the description if you want to read through it. I strongly recommend reading through at least most of it. It's like if you go through and like you don't use codex, don't read the codex section, but like read through the sections that are relevant for you. If you read nothing else, I strongly recommend going to the bottom here and the suggested prompt structure section. And this is, as it says here, use this structure as a starting point for complex prompts. Complex is subjective, but I think this is a good starting point for just about any prompt that you have. And then you can kind of remove the sections that just don't make any sense for your prompt. But this is just a really good high-level structure for prompts. So you put in your role, and it's 1 to 2 sentences defining the model's function, context, and job. And then you have the different sections here. So if you're not familiar with Markdown, like the little pound or hashtag, depending on how old you are, I guess, that is just formatting to tell it, like this is basically like adding a heading in a doc. So you keep that in there as is, and then everything that's in the square brackets here, you're going to actually replace that with something. So for your personality section, you're going to replace like tone, demeanor, and collaboration style with whatever of those things you want. And then for your goal section, you're going to put in your user visible outcome, your success criteria, what must be true before the final answer, add constraints, policy, safety, business, evidence, and side effect limits, any or all of those that are relevant. For your output section, you're going to have your sections, your length, and your tone, and then you're going to have your stop rules. When to retry, fallback, abstain, ask, or stop. Like this is a really good structure to start with. And again, this is from the people who designed the model. So if you're not using this structure and you don't get output that you want, this is probably why. Because if, like, for example, if you don't put constraints in there and the model, quote unquote, hallucinates, it probably is looking for constraints and you didn't define any, so it's guessing from all of the possible constraints that exist in the world, of which there are millions and billions. So your 5 constraints are probably not going to be the ones that it guesses, so it's going to hallucinate. It's telling you here, you have to tell me this stuff, because if you don't tell me, I'm just going to make it up. So I, again, strongly recommend that if you use GPT-5.5 for anything that matters, if you're just asking it for like a random joke, this doesn't really, it's not worth the time. But if you're using it for something that matters, I strongly recommend going into this doc and at least looking at the suggested prompt structure. And there's a little thing right here to copy this and paste it in and start with this and then just edit this. If you do nothing else, I recommend doing that. Overall, I do recommend looking at this entire prompting guide here, and then just getting the things that matter for you. But as always, you can choose your path. But just summarizing, OpenAI has released a GPT-5.5 prompting guide. Generally speaking, you want to have shorter outcome first prompts. You want to take away the step-by-step because the model does better if you give it basically what and why, and you take away the how, and you let the model figure out how. If your prompts aren't structured like that, you're probably not going to like the model very much. So look at the guide, read through it, go to the bottom and get the suggested prompt structure, copy that, paste that into wherever you're prompting or kind of building out your prompt, and use this format. Like, this is the format that the developers say works with this model, so I would believe them, and I would start with this. Again, of course, choose your path, ask us questions if you have them, and we will see you next time.